Today we're gonna rate custom Magic the Gathering cards on Reddit, starting with the Faithful Right Hand. What is this, the Right Hand Man? It's a white for a 2/3 human advisor. You can't become the Monarch! How on earth is that gonna help you? That sounds bad. I can never become the Monarch? Okay, at the beginning of the Monarch's end step, if the player is directly to your left, they gain 2 life and you draw a card. So, but they still draw the card. They're the Monarch. So you're also getting a card as well. Oh, I see. So you're the right hand. You're the right hand. This is such a niche card. This is just beyond. This is more for flavor than actual gameplay, but sure, yeah, this is very doable, very legal. Yeah, as Toad said, is this, or sorry, not Bulky said, will they Zyber? Will they be doable? Will chaos ensue? Will the fleshes be reached? Will it danger? Who knows what happens? These are real human-made Magic the Gathering cards. All right, we have Blort. Blort is a 2-mana 3/2 robot. Robot, literally a robot. You know, not a construct, not I think the only what do they have? Not a mirror, not a construct. I can't think of many robot-like creature types. Blort can't block. Well, it didn't look like it was a very good blocking creature anyway. A dangerous one he is. One of my worst failures in Artificery, says Urza. It's just a 3/2 creature. This card is very lame, very doable though. I mean, it's a crappy rare to open though. You literally have a 2-mana. It's just a 2-mana 3/2. There are so many other cards that, I mean, you could put in any deck, I guess. You want to waste your rare on that thing? I think not. All right, Abe, the first one to donate a super chat with Akius Planeswalker. If you donate a super chat, I'll give me the name of your post on Custom Magic, and I will look it up and share it with everybody. Akius Planeswalker. All right, we have a blue-white Akius Halting Strategist, 3 loyalty. Planeswalker, Akius. +1, look at target player's hand. You gain 2 life. Not bad. I like the idea of that. -1, choose a card name. Spells with the chosen card name can't be cast until the end of your next turn. So it's Meddling Mage. In some ways, it's a... No, I mean, you could blind call a card, just like Meddling Mage, and then... I don't know, over time, actually look at your opponent's hand to see what the hell is going on. -6, tap up to 6 target permanents, then put a stun counter on each permanent tap this way. That is weird. I don't remember Meddling Mage having that ability, but sure. The card might be broken. Oh no, it can only be to the end of your next turn. So every single time you go -1, you could go -1 to death, but if you choose a different card name, then like, you know, that's it, it's over. But anyway, I think I don't think this is that dangerous. I think it's also pretty easy to kill. Relatively easy to kill. You don't draw a card by looking at this, so it's not Gitaxian Probe or anything like that, so yeah, you could probe every turn if you want. I mean, that's not bad. Might be good for control players. Want to see what the hell is in your hand. Know what to counter, what not to counter. The Gitaxian Probe is decent. It's okay. I mean, maybe I'm underrating it. It's Gitaxian Probe every turn with upside that you draw a card. Oh, sorry, you gain life. You gain life. You don't draw a card. That'd be broken. Drawing a card, yeah, literally Gitaxian Probe on a 2-mana Planeswalker. That'd be terrible. Okay, back to the freebie section. Goodbye, Blort. Call to Adventure. The 4-mana legendary enchantment. Imprint. When Call to Adventure enters the battlefield, you may exile a card that has an adventure from your hand. There's a battlefield you can exile. Okay, so you can exile an adventure card. Non-land cards you own have the exiled card's adventure. Non-land cards you own? The hell does that mean? Like in my hand or something? I don't get it. So non-land cards you own. So it has to be like in my hand, because like that's the only way the adventure would work. And what if I use the adventure? Is the card just gone? Or how would that? I know what they're trying to do, but I just don't know if that would work within the rules. Toads hates getting probed. All non-lands have alternate casting costs. Non-land cards you own. So I can copy the adventure effect. Well, I mean, that's the idea. That you copy the adventure effect. I have no idea how it works, though. So you're copying the adventure half of the card. Yes. For I guess all your cards have the adventure half. Do you like adventures, Brawly Shadow? Do you want to go on an adventure? Kylie, I was watching one of your Magic 30 matchups and got to see your brother. He looks like your bodyguard. He does. And he accidentally did a face reveal. He wasn't meant to do that. So if it has the adventure, then it should have the rule also to exile and can be cast from it. I guess so. But like the thing is, once it goes to exile, it doesn't really have that ability anymore. You know what I mean? Because that's only supposed to be for adventure cards. But that's not literally an adventure card. Okay, maybe this works. If it works, fine. Whatever. Everything can have exactly that. All cards you own have the exiled cards adventure. All right, so you can copy your adventure to everybody. Jess, what do you got for me, Jess? I'm glad you're feeling better. COVID? I have no idea. I went to a Magic event on Saturday. I kicked ass, but apparently someone gave me like a fever. Robert, Arkin the Flayer. Arkin. You know, it's actually fun. I actually get sick this time of the year every year. I don't know if it's allergies or I just get the seasonal flu. But like Facebook reminded me exactly this time, around this time, I don't know, last 7 years ago or whatever, that I also got sick at this time. But it happens almost every year. Okay, Arkin the Flayer. It's got a cat. So it's already winning me over there. It's a Jund cat for some reason. What is it? What is so Jundish about a cat? Okay, green. Yeah, Jund 1 generic for a 1/1 cat with Ward 2, pay 2 life. Discard a card! Holy crap! This thing has protection like nothing else. Just for a small little feline. Untapped creatures can't attack. What does that mean? Untapped creatures can't attack. So basically, stuff can't attack because tapped creatures can't attack either. Tapped creatures can block. Okay, that's weird. Players may choose not to untap creatures during their untap. Players may choose not to untap creatures during their untap step and pay 5. Return Arkin the Flayer from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is just... I don't know about this creature. Tap creatures can block? This makes no sense. All cats have the devour keyword. In my opinion, it might laugh my ass off. Arkin the Flayer sounds like some kind of torture or mind flayer or something. That's just a cute little cat. I know. And I don't know. It looks like the picture is completely mismatched with the abilities here. This looks like nonsense. So you got a moat? This is literally moat. Or does untapped creatures just mean like vigilance creatures? No combat if tapped. I think they meant to add tapped creatures can attack. Maybe. Anyway, this card is completely busted. It's basically a moat. Basically, people cannot attack, and this thing is really hard to get rid of. And you can just put it back onto the battlefield for 5 mana. Just outright impossible to deal with. Completely busted. Hell no. It's like the Spanish Inquisition. Alright, moving on. We got Where the Nothing Goes for a colorless 6 generic. It's an enchantment. You may cast spells from exile. I like it. It's simple. Simple and effective. It's basically like, what are those cards that say you can play cards from your graveyard? Well, now you can cast stuff from exile. 10 out of 10 name. Love it. Where the Nothing Goes. Will make for a very good thumbnail. Unfathomable chaos. For green, red. We have a legendary enchantment. It looks like the entire village is up in arms over here. Creature spells have storm. What the hell? Whenever a creature token enters the battlefield, unfathomable chaos deals 1 damage to that token's controller. Whenever a creature token enters the battlefield, unfathomable chaos deals 1 damage to that token's controller. So you have to be careful how many creatures you put on the battlefield. So for every creature you storm off with, it deals 1 damage. It deals 1 damage to you. Yeah, chaos ensues. Finally, actual chaos. For that mana cost, this is fair. Sure, why not? Okay, we can let this pass. Absolutely. Okay, Fire. What do you got for us, Fire? Hope you don't mind looking at 3 from... I don't mind at all. The post is called More Channel Lands for my D&D campaign. As always, thanks for reviewing my custom cards and having them on the show. You're welcome. Okay, we got the Ruins of Oranos. It's a channel land. It's Orzhov. Channel, pay a white X, discard Ruins of Oranos. Target creature you control with mana value X or less becomes an enchantment. I thought you could push it way more than that. I mean, that's totally fine. That is not even remotely broken. This probably doesn't even need to come into play tapped either. This is way too fair. Target creature you control with mana value X or less becomes an enchantment. Okay. Okay, we got Gaia's Sanctuary enters the battlefield tapped. It's a tri-land. It's got channel X, green X, discard Gaia's Sanctuary. Up to X target creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Now we're cooking. Now that is an interesting card. Hexproof and indestructible. That probably is like a bit... That's probably very strong. Excuse me, I am now in the blowing nose stage of my my illness. Anyway, this would like go into every deck that's green or teamer-ish. I'll take a Gaia's Sanctuary, please. Everyone will take it. That might be powerful. It is powerful. Not to mention, but it does need to be in your hand, so it's not like you can fetch it out into play, unless you can fetch it out into play and then bounce it back to your hand. This card's great. It's probably strong. Don't get me wrong, it's strong, but I like it. We need strong cards like this. And then Elemental Chaos, a legendary land, enters the battlefield. It's actually funny. Hold on. These are like two opposites. This card literally does nothing. I have no idea what you wanted this card to do. This card is something everyone dreams of. Everyone wants to make their creatures indestructible. The greatest fear all casual players have, board wipes. Board wipe, board wipe, board wipe. How to make things hexproof, how to make things indestructible. That's their #1 question that they Google. And then we have Elemental Chaos. Enters the battlefield tapped, add 1 mana of any color. So, hold on. That might... So we're making strictly better City of Brass? And then channel red and an X, discard elemental chaos, create an XX elemental creature token. That's all colors. Okay, what I actually think that this is just strictly better City of Brass. So this actually has to get disqualified. It's probably too strong for a card that adds 1 mana of any color. Every land in the game that adds 1 mana of any color has a massive downside. I mean, okay, it does enter the battlefield tapped. I don't know, and you can't fetch it out. The last one, can you fetch that thing out? You cannot fetch this one out either. It's okay. Not strictly. Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, entering the battlefield tapped. Okay, we're gonna give it a pass. It's a close pass though. Be careful. Be careful out there. All right. Moving up, we got Kier Keep Champion. The 0 mana. 1/1. It's a kobold. Whatever, moving on. Some people just love their kobolds. Subtle Apparition. Even when I'm recovering... Whoops. This is disgusting. Even when I'm recovering from my illness, I still do Coffee and MTG. Okay, Subtle Apparition. We have a blue 3 generic instant. When you cast this spell, or when Subtle Apparition is turned face up, draw 2 cards. Then exile Subtle Apparition. You can morph it for a blue 1 generic. When you cast this spell, or when Subtle Apparition is turned face up, draw 2 cards. That's actually one of the better morph cards I've ever seen. Because usually when you morph, it sort of sucks. I like the idea of face down turning into spells, but I'm not entirely sure if this works. When you cast this spell, or when Subtle Apparition is turned face up, draw 2 cards. Actually, hold on. It is just then exile Subtle Apparition. It's an instant. Yeah, hold on. This is a morph creature that turns into an instant. Well, we've had stuff like this before, haven't we? There is the not conjure. There is this thing that turned cards from your deck into 2/2s, but you couldn't. But if it was a creature, you could turn it face up. But you could never turn it face up if it wasn't a creature. That technically has no resolution text. Then exile subtle apparition. It works. Morph makes it a creature. Yeah, but how do you turn it face up? Is turning it face up count as casting it? I have no idea. Yeah, manifest is what I was thinking of. Manifest. Morph into creature sounds pretty cool. Still can't be countered with something like Stifle. Makes Morph more interesting. Anyway, I guess it's a 2/2 that you can exchange it for 2 cards. Sure, why not? We'll give it a pass. All right, next super chat. We got Robert. Robert is back. Arc in the Flare. You already did Arc in the Flare. You posted it twice. Okay, I'm gonna. Well, we're just just gonna move on to the next super chat. Gabrielle. Hope you're getting better. I am a lot better than yesterday. It's never a good time to be sick, especially when it's brewing you a fever. The card is Oberon the Liar. Oberon the Liar. Then you can make like a counter card, Oberon the Truthful. Alright, Oberon the Liar. Wooburg. We got a Wooburg card for a 4/4 fairy insect. Eminence. Oh god. Eminence is always broken. Whenever you cast a spell, choose a color of that spell. You can't cast non-commander spells of that color until Oberon the Liar leaves or enters the battlefield. Whenever you cast a spell, choose a color of that. So, why? So you basically, that is a massive downside. It is a very unique downside. You can't cast non-commander spells. Okay, whatever. When Oberon the Liar enters the battlefield, each opponent chooses a color. Search your library for up to 1 permanent that is neither of those colors. Reveal it, add it to your hand, then shuffle. Pay 5, transform Oberon the Liar. I don't get it. So they all could choose something. Oh, so there's 3 players. So you can, the one chooses black, red, blue, and then you could go get a green and red card. Okay, we transform into Oberon Abyssal Worm. Is this literally an Eldrazi? Or is this like... what's it called? Like a Delver of Secrets type of thing. Okay, we have a 6/6 flyer. How does it transform? Or you just pay 5 mana. Whenever this permanent transforms into Oberon Abyssal Worm or attacks, you may exile other cards you control or in your graveyard with total 5 colors of mana. If you do, each opponent loses 5 life and exiles 5 cards from among cards in their hand, in their graveyard, or permanents they control. What? Okay, hold on. I don't understand the last half of this. This was a little bit confusing. If you do... Okay, hold on. I have to... Whenever I attack, you may exile other cards you control, or in your graveyard. What does that mean, exile other cards you can... You mean exile from your hand? You may exile other cards you control. The hell does that mean? Or in your graveyard, which total 5 colors of mana. So I can exile enough cards that it's 5 colors of mana. If you do, each opponent loses 5 life and exiles 5 cards from among cards in their hand. That's busted. In their graveyard or permanents they control. Permanents? It's like Annihilator 5, but for like anything. Opponent can choose to exile from graveyard. They lose 5 life and exile 5 cards from... I guess this is okay. It's actually a lot of work to turn online, and also you basically can't play spells at some point. And if you're a Wooburg deck, I have a feeling like... I mean, if you choose... Let's say you cast a spell. It's a Wooburg card. You name blue. Well, now you can't cast any of your other blue cards in your deck. So, I will say the downside is significant. I don't know what Eminence has to do with this, but I'll give it a pass. Alright, back to the freebie section. Mana Broth Cauldron. A 0 mana. 0 mana? That's broken. Okay, artifact. Sacrifice a creature with a mana ability. Add 1 mana of any type that creature could produce. It's probably fine, to be honest. If you're like throwing mana dorks in here, add 1. And you can only add 1 mana. That's terrible. Sack a creature with a mana ability. Why are we even sacking the creature? Just tap it. Get the mana out of this. And it, like, this seems like the most petty, crappiest way to get, like, an extra mana out of something. Eminence just means it has an effect while in the command zone. Yeah, I understand. Which is really backbreaking, really. Elves are not safe. Elves are not safe. I don't know what would be safe. I don't even know why you would play this. Like, let's say you're an elf deck. Why the hell would you play the Mana Broth Cauldron? Unless you really need the sack ability for some reason. Okay, next super chat. We're gonna look at Brawly's Shadow. I think this... Is it ILL? Illari the Last Sun. Newest Overwatch character. People love your Overwatch. It's all Overwatch and anime on this show. Okay, we got a white, red, 3/3 human soldier with flash. Whenever Illari the Last Sun enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Okay. Life gain creature. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, Illari deals 1 damage to each other creature that player controls. What? So isn't this like a Massacre Girl? Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, it's Massacre Girl, except it doesn't hit your stuff. Massacre Girl, I think, what did Massacre Girl do? It was, enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature dies, whenever a creature dies, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1. So this is strictly, I think this is strictly better Massacre Girl, if I understand this correctly. It can chain detonate as long as one more creature dies or repeats. Yes! Massacre Girl hits every player at once. Yes! That's what makes it fair. You can easily wipe out... Oh, I see. So this is whenever a creature an opponent controls dies. So it only affects that. This feels so unfun. But whatever. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this doable? Can we print this card? It's a red effect. It's very red, do you think? Sure, it's red-white, it gains life, and it pings. Oh, it does more than that. I mean, it's possible to completely wipe out one person's board. Completely, especially if they have a bunch of tokens. If they have a bunch of tokens, you wipe out the tokens, you'll probably get like 4 triggers and it'll wipe out the rest. Danger! Does not... Abzo says it's Zybers, but Christopher B says it does not Zyber. Makeshift says it danger. Can double the damage. Oh, it can do a lot of damage. But dies to Lightning Bolt, so obviously fair. Not in Commander. Who plays Lightning Bolt in Commander? Although people probably should play Lightning Bolt in Commander. It's a lot worse than Massacre Girl in a lot of cases. Okay. So it actually does... It does not initiate anything. We'll say it passes. I've hesitantly give it a pass, though. It looks very strong. Okay, Prison Guard. For a blue-white 1 generic, it's a 1/3 human soldier with vigilance. When Prison Guard enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until Prison Guard leaves the battlefield. Okay. That creature can't attack, block, or accrue vehicles while Prison Guard is on the battlefield. That is so weird. Okay, so we basically detained something. It's like detain, really. But we like literally control the creature. I have no idea what the advantage to that would be. Because you can't attack, block anyway. You can't do anything. Like, wasn't that detain? Basically, anything with detain was a Prison Guard. It's another brutal Cathar. It's like the jailer role from the town of Solemn. Well, you could sack it. You could sack the creature. Yeah, you got that. All right, aristocrat strat. So deputy detention. No, not quite. The card's still on the battlefield. Deputy detention. You are exiled. Could only come back from the door of where nothing goes. Where nothing goes. Okay, how do I get back here? The Prison Guard. Whatever. It's kind of messed up that you can sack the prisoner. Hey, a long time ago they probably did that pretty often. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next super chat. We got Abe. What do you got for us, Abe? He's another more interesting planeswalker. X Shadow's Form. when it loads. There we go. We have some form of Planeswalker. All right, it's a black X. How many Planeswalkers have X in their casting costs? I think there was one Nissa. I can't remember any other one. Okay, black X. X loyalty. Plus at what? You lose X life. X can't be greater than 5. Okay. Minus X. Target creature gets minus X until end of turn, and you gain X life. What? Target creature gets... Oh, you just minus the X from here. That's plus X is weird, though. This card looks outrageously busted. No, is it busted? I don't know. You have to lose a lot of life and then -3 draw 2 cards. I have a feeling this card's broken. This is like a card I'd have to see in action, but for 3 mana, you get basically lose 5 life. You lose 5 life, and then you have 6 loyalty, and you're most certainly gonna draw 2 cards off of this damn thing. X are gonna give it to you. I think that technically these should be different variables. There is an Nissa with X. Nikachu is right. It does work. Then you just gain it back. This card is either trash or it's insane, and I would have no idea until I actually play with the card. Also, how does this in any way resemble a real card? X? There is some Planeswalkers with X. All right. They're looking for their X. We'll just say. But like, it's so easy to get. I think that's so. You could have this out on turn 2 with a Mana Dork deck. Just ramp it out turn 2. Draw 2 cards is busted. Also, it kills creatures. And you gain life when you kill creatures. You actually... Okay, do you know what? This is broken. No way. No way. You kill creatures and you gain life. Get rid of the gain life thing. It's probably fine. But killing creatures and gaining life to then reuse it on this damn thing, broken. Absolutely busted. Okay, we'll move on to... I gotta get back to the freebie section. World's Edge. Ooh, I like the sound. I love the picture. Love the name. World's Edge enters the battlefield tapped. Pay 1 tap. Add blue to your mana pool. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, instead shuffle your graveyard into your library, then exile World's Edge. Interesting. Anyone always close to decking out? Well, finally you have World's Edge. Oh, maybe this is for like the people protecting themselves against mill. This would be like an instant like anti-mill card. So like they mill you out. And you're just like, oh, World's Edge. We're gonna exile this thing. Hold on. And it's in his battlefield tapped. You add double blue. Yeah, that's fine. So it doesn't add mana by itself, but it also filters mana. Actually, I could use this card. As a Merfolk player, all my stuff is blue, and I would suddenly turn Mutavault mana into blue mana. This is great. I love this card. Zyber's for me. I might be a little biased. I want the damn thing here. Flat Earthers rejoice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is like, yeah, the edge of the world. Here, it's all the water is falling down. Where does it go? Nobody knows. It's a Flat Earth card. I feel like this would invalidate mill decks outright. Hey, they already have a lot of problems. Like, they can't even beat an Emrakul, okay? When you go mill, you understand that you have a very, very narrow strategy. It can backfire at one card. One card can completely screw you over. It shouldn't be legendary at all. Well, there's a lot of World's Edge, right? The whole world, there's an edge around the whole world. There's not just one edge. It's probably big and round. I don't know that much about Flat Earthers. Is like the world round or is it a square? I don't know. Definitely should be legendary. Well, whatever. I don't care. I like it. I'm giving it a pass. I'd play this card instantly. It'd be so good. All right, Neon Gray. I'm making my first Magic set, the 9 Realms. Making my first Magic set. Okay, we got Kratos. Kratos, the foreign god. White, red, 2 generic for a god soldier. You got a lot. When the font gets really small, that's probably a sign that you're cramming too many words into the damn thing. It's a 3/4 God Soldier. I like the picture. Okay, whatever Kratos deals and or is dealt damage, put a rage counter on it. That's fine. Remove 2 rage counters from Kratos. Choose 1. Kratos gains double strike and vigilance until end of turn. Kratos gains indestructible until end of turn. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by Kratos this turn. It's like regenerate. And then Kratos deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to his power. If the permanent would die this way, you gain 3 life. That third ability doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but I think the card is fine. So if it's dealt damage, I like the idea. It's like he gets, you know, you piss him off and he gets more powerful. I am what the gods have made me. Alrighty then. Flat Earthers can't come to a consensus on what their theory is. Well, they don't have as many satellites in space to confirm their theory. Alright, we're going to look at way more custom Magic the Gathering cards. But we got to thank our sponsors today, Fusion Gaming Online. What can you get at Fusion Gaming Online? You can get singles, sealed product. You can get Wilds of Eldraine. That set just got released. And if you need any of the hot singles from that set... Well, what is the deal of the week this week? They have deal of the weeks. Oh, save 15% off all Secret Lair box sets. So if there's a Secret Lair that you've always wanted, well, you can get 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. And don't forget to use coupon code... Where is my coupon code? Coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Your ability to play any deck, any format, anytime that you want. Any time of the day, any time of the month, you get it at Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_N9M. A little bit of a tongue twister code this month. Hold on, we just did a paid one. We go back to the freebie one. Okay, emotional damage. Okay, we have a black, blue, XX. Why don't they have the guy here? Instant. Search target opponent's library for a card, then exile it. That opponent shuffles, then puts the exiled card on the bottom of their library. You're not even getting rid of the card. It's just at the bottom. They just know it's there. That player then loses X life for each. That was true when that card was revealed. It was the top card of their library. Its mana value was 5 or more. Its cost has 3 or more colors. It was legendary. It was rare or mythic rare. That is so funny. Emotional damage. Anyway, I guess, yeah, that's doable. Although this is a bit of a, this feels like a little bit of an uncard at the bottom here. It was the top card. If it was the top card of their library, they lose X, so they lose 1 life. Then they lose 1 life if the mana value is 5. Then they lose 1 life if it had 3 or more colors, or if it was legendary or rare or mythic card. Should be deals X damage. It should. It should be a lot of things. Okay, moving on. We got the Smelly Squid. Changeling adjacent experimental idea. Changeling? Changeling adjacent. Aha! 1,000 named. I like the name of the card. Okay, we got a black 3 generic 4/3 shapeshifter with Devoid. And it's got Nameling. In addition to its other types, this card is every creature type that is a proper noun. For example, Atog, Brushwag, and Eldrazi are all proper nouns, but Aurochs, Human, God, and Wizard are not. What the hell? Now this is the ultimate judge card. Judge! Is that a proper noun or what? The existence of 1,000 named would probably create an errata on every card in Gatherer, just to let us know if something was a proper noun or not. I love the idea, but the reality is that this is a rules nightmare. It is a super rules nightmare. So, I mean, it's doable, but I don't know if anyone would print this thing. Because, like, you gotta know your nouns. I don't know if I know my nouns well. I mean, you know, I know nouns as person, place, or thing, or idea. And, like, a human sounds like a noun. How is the wizard not a noun? Or is that, I guess it's not a proper noun. So anyway, well, yeah. Is there a sound of judge crying sound? So I guess elder isn't part of this. Can't think of another creature type. Why is it black? I have no idea. But it's got devoid, so. Yeah, that's a good question. Why is it black? This actually looks like a completely colorless card. Well, anyway, thanks. That is... What is a good way to describe this card? No, I don't have a good sound effect for this. It's a Bizarro World card. Like, yeah, it's printable. You could make this. It's completely legal. But it will just be a complete rules conundrum every single time you play it. Proper noun usually means a name. Oh, like Atog is a name, Eldrazi is a name. All right. Good to know. True Death. It's a black, black, black instant. Destroy target creature. That creature's controller may copy this spell and choose new targets for the copy. Cool card. Oops. Very cool card. I like it. Simple. Simple but effective. There's actually a lot of watered down cards in the custom Magic the Gathering main board right now. Nothing completely busted. Okay, Whale of Darkness. What do you got for us? A commander with a not feel bad balance effect. What the hell does that mean? A commander with a not feel bad balance effect. Ashasu, Avatar of Balance. White, white, 3 generic for a 4/4 avatar. Flying and lifelink. When Ashasu enters the battlefield for each permanent type, the player... So when it enters the battlefield, for each permanent type, the player with the least amount of permanence of that type draws a card. What the hell does that mean? This is where reading the card makes me reread the card. It's a 4. Okay, it's a 4/4 for 5. That I got. Enters the battlefield for each permanent type. The player with who's the player with the least amount of permanence? For each permanent type, the player with the least amount of permanent types of that type draws a card. A tie has no effect. I don't get it. So hold on. Oh, okay. So for each so if it's lands, let's just start with lands. If you have the least lands, you draw a card. You have the least creatures, you draw a card. If you have the least enchantments, you draw a card. A tie has no effect. So if we both have no enchantments, so if Bobby and Billy have an enchantment, but me and Sarah have no enchantments, we get nothing? That is so rude. A tie has no effect. So you literally have to be the person with the least of anything. Let's say opponent has an enchantment, a creature, and a battle, and you don't. Then you draw three cards off those. I don't know if that's it. For one card, at least has lifelink. And has flying. It makes sense. It just needs to be worded. It's definitely worded very poorly. No clue. You draw. Whoever controls fewest lands draws one. Yeah, that's how I'm interpreting it. Vitron says, when name enters the battlefield, name a permanent type. Or you have to name the permanent type. For each permanent of that type, the player with the least amount draws a card. Ties negate this ability. No, I don't think you name anything. I think when it enters the battlefield, for each permanent type, someone's going to draw a card for having the least. I don't know why a tie has no effect. I think tie should actually draw you something. Otherwise, like 2 players could have planeswalkers, 2 players don't, but then they don't draw cards. So, okay, I think I understand. This is an interesting card. It's interesting. It needs to be worded better. It's worded very poorly. It's worded insane. Okay, final prayers to the Twilights. We got a black, 1 generic enchantment. All lands have tap, add black. All right, so Urborg. Instead of paying white to cast a spell, you may pay black instead. Oh, very creative. Interesting card. So, I don't know why that would be that important. I guess you could just splash. I guess it's just a weird mana fixer. I don't even know if this card is good. It doesn't even draw you a card. This is literally just an enchantment to help smooth your mana, I guess. If you're like a heavily black deck. I guess you could have some cards in your deck that are like, I don't know, white, 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 or something like that. And here you could pay black instead. But anyway, neat card. Doesn't have rarity. Okay, disqualified. Need a rarity on your card. Grand Orzhov, I guess. Yeah, there will be. Spectral Maniac. Multifarious Operative. Taking a break today from the Shadowverse cards to do a different take on the Undercover Operative. Multifarious Operative. Alright, we got a black blue 1 generic for a 1/4 with a lot of words on it. Okay, it's a shapeshifter rogue. It's a 1/4. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. I'll choose Merfolk. Multifarious Operative is the chosen type in addition to its other types. That's fine. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if it shares it's a creature type with Multifarious Operative, you may draw a card. Oh, interesting. I think that's cool. That also like prevents your opponents from playing things. This has got to be like a really feel bad card to play against. Like if they're up against me and they name Merfolk, I'm just screwed. I'm like, well, I could do nothing, or I could play my cards and let you draw cards and hopefully win quickly. But very neat card. It's when it enters the battlefield. This card would be even more busted with Flash. It's the chosen type. I don't know why it needs to be the chosen type in addition. Like, that seems unnecessary. It should just be like, enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield. Oh, if it shares a creature type. So it could be rogues randomly. So you randomly hit Shapeshifter and Rogue as well. Yeah, me who Brawly Shadow, who only runs creature-based decks. Take that, goblins! But the goblins might kill you. I mean, if you know, you could have all the cards in your hand, but if they're like throwing out goblins like crazy, I mean, you dead. You're gonna be completely dead. A friendly game. Black, 1 generic. Sorcery. Search your library for a basic land and a card. What, any card? Then shuffle. Separate the 2 cards in 2 piles. Target opponent chooses 1 pile to go into the graveyard, the other into your hand. Interesting. I like it. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still. Bilbo Baggins. So that's the rhyming thing. Sorry, not rhymes. Riddles. They riddled with each other. Anyway, that's a pass. That's a doable card. It might be broken in, well, it's probably not broken. Reanimator decks have tons to work with here. Yeah, J Sober probably could be a black and 1 generic. It's teeth, my precious. Okay. Okay, another super chat. From Yo Little Ted. Yo Little Ted, what do you got for us? The Fab Four. Fabulous it is. Okay, we have red, blue, white, 2 generic, 4/4 human magician. Sorry, human musician. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1 ability randomly. The Fab Four gains that ability until end of turn. John, whenever the Fab Four deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Paul, the Fab Four has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. George, the Fab Four gets +2/+0, and Shadow. And Ringo, the Fab Four has double strike and menace. Has fading 4. That's very sad. So you get it for basically 4 turns and then it's gone. Ability only until end of turn. Well, I mean, totally fair. Especially at 5 mana. At 5 mana, fading creature. But it's legendary, so your commander can come back. Union Jack colors. No Beetle subtype. Not a fan of the Beatles, Steve Cooper. Print for Beatles. Honestly, I don't listen to any of the Beatles music. Too old. Too old for me. That's like classical music for me at this point in my life. All right, okay, so yeah, definitely doable. Print it. Dream Pack Summoning. We have a red, blue, 2 generic. For a sorcery, create a 2/1 blue and red jackal creature token with haste and hexproof. For each other instant and sorcery you've cast this turn. It's Storm! They tried to hide Storm! Exile those tokens at the beginning of your next end step. It's Storm! Haste and hexproof for each instant or sorcery you've cast this turn. Exile the tokens at the beginning of the next end step. It's just Storm. Yeah, let's just shred the damn thing. We don't need more Storm cards. I mean, I'm wondering, is it like more okay, obviously this is a Storm player. Obviously Storm player. But why do they need this card? Is it like to get around Leyline of Sanctity or something? Is it better than Warren's? Probably not. Not at a competitive level. How do you use this? It's so expensive. Well, Storm decks usually play like a bunch of rituals, and they just build up a ton of mana while drawing cards, casting rituals, and then they'll Dream Pack Summoning for like a bazillion 2/1 hexproof red jackal creature tokens and try to kill you in one shot. Not technically Storm, only for spells you've cast. So your opponent's spells don't count. Well, also, it also doesn't count your creature spells. So, but it's Storm. All right, if you're a Storm player, like, this basically is Storm. So much worse than Tendrils. What? You know what? It's a crappier win condition than the other Storm cards, so I guess we could give it a pass. But it's Storm. It's still, yeah, exactly. With Liquid Soulfire, it's still Storm. I don't care what it looks like. Well, when you play blue, you can put a bigger casting stuff and just put a bunch of return to hand spells to compensate for the time it takes to get that much mana. Oh well. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on with the super chats. I have quite a few we're gonna blast roll these super chats for the back quarter of the show. Rob Boy, what do you have for us, Rob Boy? ILY, I don't even know what that means. Nikachu and Coffee Crew. Hope you're feeling better today. I am. What does LIY mean? That's something I'm supposed to look up. ILY. Nope, that's not it. All right, we'll donate that to the freebie section, I guess. Hellfire Blast. Oh, by the way, I am feeling a lot better than yesterday, that's for sure. Now I just have like a runny and stuffed nose, but that I can deal with. That's not bad. I can live with that. Okay, Hellfire Blast. Red 2 generic for an instant with Desecrate 4. You may exile 4 cards from your graveyard as you cast the spell. It's just a delve. Oh, but you may? Hellfire Blast costs 2 less to cast. 2 less if it desecrated? Oh, it's like Delve, but it's like double Delve or something? Hellfire Blast deals 3 damage to any target. So you can pay 1 red. So it's like Delve, but it's not. Because it's not 1 for 1 for casting cost. It's like you exile 4 cards, you get 2 less. Hellfire Blast deals 3 damage to any target. That's interesting. I think burn players would love this card. The MTG community would call that mechanic Defecate. You know I'm right. Desecrate, well... What, if they don't like the... What's it called? They don't like the burn players out there? Kicker Delve. It's fixed Delve. I don't know if it's fixed Delve. Delve is fine. It's kind of fixed Delve. You mean like more strong Delve? Most Delve cards sucked. There was just a few rotten apples that made Delve look really broken. Why not Kicker? Because it's not really a kicker. It's like reverse kicker. You're paying less, right? I don't know. I don't see how this could be kicker at all. Anyway, okay, so moving on. Okay, Smelly Squid. I want to use Stifle to buff my werewolves. The hell does that mean? I want to use Stifle to buff the werewolves. How are you going to do that? Okay, pay 2. It's an artifact. Ptolemy's Orrery. It's a legendary artifact. If the game would cause it to become day or night, instead place a charge counter on Ptolemy's Orrery. So it's like never going to be day or night because we're always putting a counter on this thing. Whenever a charge counter is placed on Ptolemy's Orrery, if it is day, it becomes night. And if it is night, it becomes day. I don't get it. If the game would cause it to become day or night, instead place a charge counter on the Orrery. So the P is silent. I completely agree with you. Ptolemy's Orrery. I don't know the lore behind this thing. I think the idea is instead of anything going day and night, it has to go through the Ptolemy's Orrery first. And then you have some means of like stifling this counter. Because then once the counter goes on it, now it actually switches to day and night. So if the counter doesn't go, so if you stifle the counter, it's always night. So it's a doable card. This is really niche though. It reverses night and day trigger. Does it? If it is day, it becomes night. If it is night, it becomes day. No, I think it just changes. So no, when this enters the battlefield, so when this enters, it becomes day cards. No. Everything happens. They want to use Stifle because they can prevent the second effect from happening. They can prevent night from ever becoming day again. That's the way. That's how I'm interpreting this. Thought they had that already. I don't know. Hey, they're trying hard to stifle to keep it nighttime for forever. They have an idea, people. It's an idea in their mind. Just let them have it. I have an idea. Remove day-night mechanic from the game. Oh, it's too late. We've gone too far. Oh, so you can prevent the mechanic from triggering. Yes, that's exactly. This is a crazy, pointless card. Not to the werewolf players, Rob Boy. Not to the werewolf players. The Jaded. If Venus shows all phases like the moon, the Earth must revolve around the sun, but no one will believe me. It's nothing I've seen for real. Ocean. Ptolemy was wrong. I cannot relate. I also hate the day and night mechanic. It is an absolute abomination to keep track of. Okay, Madra! How about every legendary creatures from some legendary... Okay, some legendaries I made long ago. With some other cards. Gladly answer any question. Hope it's okay. Alright, let's look. Okay, I'm only going to look at... I'll look at 2 for you. We definitely didn't... For like a $5 super chat, I'm not going to look at all 9 of these. That's a lot of words! When the font gets small enough, you know you're jamming too many abilities on the card. Okay, we got Esper 1 generic for a 1/5. Bird Wizard, big owl, holding up an owl. Flying Vigilance. Eminence! If Zoria Ares Empress is in play or in your command zone, as long as you control at least one bird creature, at least one bird, creatures your opponents control can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless they pay 1. Okay, that's interesting. Whenever a card effect you control makes an opponent pay mana, the next player gain that much colorless mana at the beginning of their pre-combat main phase. Until end of turn, mana produced by... Well, what does that second one even mean? Whenever a card effect you control make an opponent pay mana, like the first one, the next player gain that much colorless mana at the beginning of their pre... Oh! So if I pay 5 mana to attack the Zoria player, for some reason they get the mana now. Which is weird. So you guys pass the mana around, and they could use that mana to attack you. At end of turn, mana produced by Zoria Ares Empress doesn't empty from the mana pool as phases end. This is just a weird card. Sure. Wait, what else do you have? You have Cat Girls. Oh, maybe we'll look at a lot of these cards. Okay, we have Teamer for Vera and Ovelia, Princesses of Mias Bay. A 2/1 Cat Warrior Noble. First strike, protection from white. When Vera and Ovelia princesses of the Moss Bay come into the battlefield. Should we enter the battlefield? Create a creature token that's a copy of it, except its name is Ovelia and Vera, princesses of the Moss Bay. It's a 1/2 and have protection from black. So we have the pro white one, we have the pro black one. Old cat you control. Old cat! Old cats you control with force or toughness 1 or less are What? It almost looks AI generated. Old cat, what does that mean? Old cats you control with force or toughness 1 or less? What is, oh, you mean power. Power, toughness 1 or less are unblockable. Okay, whatever. Okay, you gotta clean up the wording here, and the grammar, and the spelling. But yeah, I think we could make this pass. It's basically 3 mana. Your cats that have power, toughness 1 are unblockable, and it's like 2 creatures in itself. Yeah, it is readable somehow. In the end, we could read the damn thing. Yeah, it was probably a Google translated version. It's quite hilarious. All right, we got David. What do you got for us, David? Grazier. Western Prospector. When I think of something that when I was thinking of something that grazes, I think of like a goat or a donkey. The Grazier, Western Prospector. For Naya 2 generic, a 4/4 dwarf peasant. As long as you control 5 or more treasures, Grazier isn't a peasant and is a noble in addition to its other types. Nobles you control get +2/+2. So he's a pretty big peasant for a 4/4. Peasants you control gain tap, create a treasure token. This card is completely fine. I don't understand the flavor though. Like, what's the flavor to this card? As long as you control 5 or more treasures, you go from peasant to noble. Is that all it takes? Is a little bit of treasure, you can declare yourself king? Nobles you control get... What about the donkey? It's a peasant lord. is that the joke? It's a peasant lord? It's a peasant lord. Flavor win. He gets rich. He won the lottery. He's out panning for gold. Oh, he is! Yeah, he is. He's got it over here. Donkey, don't eat the gold. He's developing the frontier and becoming a lord. I guess so. Dr. Magilus. They'll print anything these days, title of the post. Oh, no, we don't do... You got a super chat. It's completely paywalled. That's how the show works around here. All right, we'll go back to Broly's chat. Okay, well, okay, this peasant lord definitely passes. We have Zazu. Oh, now, we're completing the Lion King saga. I bet Zazu will just show up. Yeah, not many people making Zazus. Okay, so we had a Lion King thing like a few weeks ago, but there was no Zazu for some reason. All right, we got a white 2 generic 2/2 bird advisor. He is a bird advisor, so that's a flavor win right there. 2/2 flyer. Zazu exasperated advisor can't be sacrificed. That's interesting, because even Scar let Zazu just live all the way to the very end. If you don't own Zazu, creatures you control get -1/-0. I don't understand the flavor of that. Whenever a player becomes the monarch, that player gains control of Zazu. Ooh, it's a flavor win. That's a flavor win. Yeah. He is loyal to whoever is the king, even if the brother killed the actual king. Monarch love. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how good the card is. It's just a flavor win, that's all. It's a flavor win all over the place. Ella! Alakazam! Tarmogoyf redo. Broken mechanic and something. Broken mechanic plus broken creature. The Scavenge Goyf! It's a green 4 generic Lurgoyf with star with Delve! Scavenge Goyf's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards. Okay, it's card types among all graveyards, and Scavenge Goyf's power is equal to number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. Okay, so it's just a regular Tarmogoyf. It's just Tarmogoyf with Delve. It stops to consume the rubble it creates. Oh, it does it? It's Tarmogoyf. It's fair Tarmogoyf. Even regular Tarmogoyf right now basically sees no play. Shouldn't this be +1 down here? Doesn't Delve remove cards in grave? Yes, it does. So it's even more balanced. So it's a Goyf that might shrink itself. You really depend on your opponent. Yeah, it's actually super fixed Goyf. Not that we really needed a fixed Goyf. Goyf is basically unplayable at this point. Where's Goyf? Bad design. I think it's good design. There's nothing wrong with this card. Wouldn't it be creatures of players you don't own? Creatures of players who don't own Zazu? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, this was made 5 years ago when people were still afraid of Goyf. Okay. Yeah, when Goyf was the big bad creature on the block. Alright, Brawly Shadow, what do you got for us? Timon and Pumbaa. Oh, we are finishing the cycle, aren't we? Pumbaa. The carefree duo. Hakuna Matata and everything. Alright, for their Golgari? Why that? I don't understand the Golgari part. Okay, green, black, 1 generic for a 2/2 Boar Meerkat. Trample, Devour Insect 2. I don't know what Devour means. Garrett says, Zazu didn't matter since it only matters about who owns the card, not controls it. All right. It's for when someone takes your Monarch. Now they have -1, -0 until they get rid of the Monarch. Aha. When Timon and Pumbaa, carefree duo, enters the battlefield, create a food token for each insect it devoured. I don't understand how Devour works. Like, what, do you, like, eat up insects on the battlefield or something? It means no worries for the rest of your days. Simba should eat Pumbaa. if his what's it called, instincts kicked in. They're definitely not Golgari. That is a fail. I have no idea why this guy's black. That makes no sense to me. Like, probably Naya makes the most sense. Scar can be black. Whatever. I think they're very Gruul. They could, actually. But Pumbaa is like a pretty fast guy. Devour is a sacrifice mechanic. So we need a bunch of insects on the battlefield and turn them into food? This card's terrible. I mean, it's doable, but like, no one... This is a flavor win card, not a very playable card. Alright, we got Miguel. 2 lands. Legendary lands. Oh, legendary lands. Not the full cycle. The Bilgewater Bay. It does a lot of things. It's a legendary land. Tap, add a colorless. You got with this 3 thing going over here. So it's got like white, black, and blue. It's a weird hybrid. Tap, add white, white, blue, blue, or black, black. Pay a blue, tap, put a stun counter on target tapped creature. Black, 1 generic. Tap, each opponent discards a card. Activate only as a sorcery. That is probably broken by itself. There's no way in hell you can put that on a land. And it like fixes your mana and everything. White, white, 1 generic, tap, sacrifice Bilgewater Bay, destroy all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. What are you, nuts? This is completely broken. There's absolutely, like, it was broken, like, I don't know, 3 abilities down. That stun thing is pretty bad, too. It just got worse and worse. Okay, let's, just because that was so insanely broken, you know, I'll look at another one of your cards. So you have a broken Naya version of this, with the abilities red, tap, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's actually reasonable. White, 1 generic, tap, gain 2 life for each untapped land you control. That's probably a little too strong. And then green, 1 generic, sacrifice Placidium of Navori. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt this turn. Actually is more playable than this last one. This last one is just absolutely bananas. These broken by the fact that they arrived untapped. Yeah, that too. But they only add colorless up front. But then you can... It's like a filter land, though. My brother in Christ, what are these effects? Completely broken effects. Okay, we got Doctor. Doctor, you're back. They'll print anything these days. Design fired. This is that meme where the pizza guy walks in and there's this huge mess of a problem here. Okay, we have a red, blue, 2X instant. Change the text of target spell or permanent by replacing X words of your choice with the following. The same word cannot be used more than once. When, whenever, at, until, leaves, enters battlefield, graveyard, hand, library, exiles, dies, draws, discard, return. This seems like an uncard. We can always ban it later. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, well, I mean, okay, as an uncard, sure, that is a pass. Okay, Madra. Okay, what is your last super chat? You have something here. Do I have to look for it? No, I meant to ask you to watch at least the last 3 legendaries. Okay, hold on. Your last 3 legend. What was it before? What is the title of your thing again? I don't want to go back. Just give me the title. I'll look it up again, and I'll look at the last 3 legendaries. What's the most broken thing we can do with this? I have no idea. Change the text. I guess you could replace end of turn with... I don't know. Okay, some legendaries you made before. Okay, okay, so you want the last... I'll do the last 2. Okay, we got a Bird Spirit. We got Orzhov Blue for a 1/1. This is like more broken than Baleful Strix. This is like so many abilities onto 2 creatures. That has Flash, Flying, and Lifelink. Exile target opponent... Okay, exile target opponent artifact, enchantment, or non-creature spell until Spellcatcher Kestrel leaves the battlefield. What? Exile target opponent. Oh, so we exile the opponent's artifact, enchantment, or a non-creature spell. That is absolutely broken. And it has Flash. When Spellcatcher Kestrel dies, an opponent choose 1 according to the mana value of the card they recover to their hand. Each player's gain that much life. Huh? Okay. Damn it, the grammar on this make no sense. The last 3 legendaries? Well, how do I know which are the legendaries? Are you only getting 2? The last 3 legendaries? Okay. I found them. Okay. I'll start off with Dawn Triplet. Dawn Triplet, green, green, blue, blue, white, white for a 3/6 human cleric noble. Clerics you control have tap, prevent 2 damage on any target. That's fine. Whenever a human comes onto the battlefield or enters the battlefield, scry 2. That's fine. Whenever Dawn Triplet or another noble you control comes onto the enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put onto the battlefield, tap. That actually is fine. There's nothing too insanely broken about this, especially for 6 mana. And then we have Cisco and Leandro, Regions of the Sun City. Bant 2 generic for a 2/4 human cleric noble. Vigilance. Whenever you prevent damages, you may choose each one once each turn outside your turn. I don't understand these abilities. This is Google Translate gone wrong. Whenever you prevent damages, you may choose each turn outside your turn. Okay, sure. Gain as much life than the amount of damage prevented on you. I don't understand. Okay, put as much +1/+1 counters than the amount of damage prevent on a creature. And draw as much cards than the amount of damage prevent on any target. I have no idea what any of that means, so I'm gonna have to disqualify it. A magical kiss before you go. The flavor text, I understand. See, it's a transitioning thing. That's very, very funny. Okay, we're gonna finish it off with Brawly's Shadow. Mufasa. Born leader. Sure, you're the... Oh, we have Mufasa here. All right, we have white, green, 2 generic for a 4/4 Cat Noble, Vigilance. When Mufasa, born leader, enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. That makes sense. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you are the monarch, each player draws a card. Oh! Beginning of your upkeep, if you are the monarch, each player draws a card. That's actually sick. So this was a great leader. Everyone benefits for as long as Mufasa is here. Jacob is a huge fan of Mufasa all of a sudden. Tuxdev is like, whenever a spell or ability you control prevents damage, if it is not your turn, choose one. You cannot choose the same mode twice. All right. Tuxdev could understand complete gibberish from that last card. Oh, you like the last card? Not Mufasa? Benevolent Monarch gives an incentive to keep someone the monarch. Yeah, it gives you an incentive to keep them as the monarch because you keep drawing cards off of it. All right, that's it. This is a hard... it passes. It's a great pass. All right, as usual, thank you very much for submitting all your cards. And if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here. Whoops. Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel, either a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show with your custom cards. We also got to thank everyone who shows up in the morning. People like Silvercations, Raya Bread, Jacob, Osuf, Brawly Shadow, Carrick, Rotboy, Feedy Fox, Silvercations, Jonathan V, Win for the Win, King Ginger, Majra, welcome Majra, and all your custom cards, Jess, Spectral Maniac, because without all of you guys, I'd have no show. So as usual, keep brewing up them coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.